narrative videos are like freaking hard to pull off.
That's
like, what
true.
do you want? Like a dude just sitting in his bathroom staring at his mirror and being angry, and then cut between like other pictures of like pills and stuff like floating around.
It
Like, I
sounds
could
like this
make
was an idea you guys had and decided to go to not do it.
It
sounds like you're making that up on the spot.
It's a metalcore cliche number one. Metalcore
I
cliche
feel like
number
I've
two.
seen that video before.
Yeah,
Angry girl walks away, slams the door, takes a backpack full of
metalcore cliche video number two.
Not to hate on anybody though. If you have a video that's exactly that, I'm sorry.
Welcome to the 58th episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore adjacent communities. If you beautiful people in chat have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in. I'll try to read them aloud. If you'd like to sub for $5, you get access to some exclusive emotes as well as access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming services. You can also sub for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this in your car and have no idea what I'm talking about, the show is first shown live on Twitch. Join us every Sunday and Wednesday at twitch.tv/thecast for the live cast. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest tonight, who dropped their amazing debut album, Funeral Psalms, through Solid State Records last Friday. Welcome in the Undertaking. How's it going, guys?
Yo, what's up? Good to be here.
Good to have you guys. Tell us who you are, what you do in the band. I guess we'll start with Austin.
Yeah, dude, I'm Austin. I'm the vocalist. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Johnny. I'm one of the guitarists.
And I'm Keith. I'm the other guitarist. That was a poor build-up for our guitars. I'm sorry, Johnny. We should have been like, "Hey, yeah, I'm guitar one. I'm guitar two," and like really amped it.
Yeah, I'm the one on the right side on the recording, man.
Yeah.
But the left
I'm on
side
the right, and I
during
think
our
Keith
live
is
show.
left.
Yeah, we
I
switch it around.
Yeah.
live shows. I'm on the right. Johnny's on the left, and then live we switch or recorded. We switch it up.
We didn't think it through.
Just to mess people up.
I really like your band name. Not sure why. It's just got a really nice ring to it. It is kind of weird if you think about it. Like, what exactly are you guys undertaking with your name?
Man,
Being
that's a good
adults.
question. Yeah.
I think we're all undertaking.
We're
Blind.
trying. We're trying.
How did y'all end up landing on that?
Austin, come on. Give us the story on the name.
So Keith and I have been playing music together since like 8th grade and junior high school or whatever. And then our drummer, Brent, we played together in high school. And at some point, that just became our name. And we actually don't know the specific reasoning or even conversation that it happened. In a way, we'll give credit to our old singer. His name was Ben. Like, he may have been the one to introduce the name to the group, but we're not really sure about that. And it all came from one. The letters together are like aesthetically pleasing, and you put them all together and they like flow well. I don't know. I look at our name and it like fits together. And we wanted something that was serious and dour, so the Undertaking. But then we add the exclamation point at the end because it's like not serious and not dour, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it looks good and it sounds good. It just doesn't have like a huge meaning behind it. Cricket Slams in the chat was saying that maybe you guys got inspired by the wrestler, the Undertaker. Any truth to that?
I'd love that.
If you want that to be true,
Yeah.
That's the news story. I like it.
We're gonna come out to his music. Like the bells are gonna toll and Keith is gonna come out of the ground.
I think we just settled on it because at some point we decided that the name was literally just the name that people looked at, and then you get behind it to the music, and that's really what you care about at the end of the day. The name's just going to end up phasing out at some point, and the music takes over.
Exactly. Yeah, the name doesn't matter. There's bands called like the Arctic Monkeys, for instance. Like, what the heck is that?
Right.
Somebody, when we announced with Solid State, somebody topped in a comment and said, "I don't really like the name."
Oh, right.
We hopped in and we're like, yeah, neither do we. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. It is what it is. Our mother gave it to us.
On your website, you call yourselves a chaotic rock band from San Diego with a can-do attitude, no frills, and all fun. I certainly agree with that. This stuff makes you guys want to move around. tell us how you ended up getting together. You started in 2018, yeah, how did it all come together?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we all kind of played music together throughout junior high, high school, college. Our drummer went to college in Michigan. Keith and I went to school in San Diego. And so we would kind of, when Brent would come back into town, we would get the band back together in different iterations throughout time. And then he would leave to go back to school and the band would break up. And then he would come back and we would get back together.
Right.
And so then at some point, we stopped playing completely. And then the story that I've been kind of telling is Johnny and I share an office close to each other, and the final Warp Tour was going around, and every day they're sending these pictures of all the different bands, and that Warp Tour was crazy. And I think that put in each of us separately this feeling of like, we have to play music again. Like, what are we doing? And so Keith, Brent, and I had a group chat that started that was just like, yo, let's play. And then when we landed on a time and a date, I looped Johnny in, and then we got James, our bassist, involved, and just kind of said like, no, we're not done playing music. So there's a lot to it, but
It was one of those things that the first time we played together, immediately we were all like, we got to keep playing. It was like, it was similar to like hooking up with an ex. You're like, oh yeah, I know all the moves. Like, this feels right.
Well, it seems to be working for you guys. You haven't had any member changes at all, right?
no,
Oh, nice.
Not that I know
no,
of.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
Not yet.
not yet.
We're
Not
all-
that I know of. Yeah.
We're all still friends. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You guys dropped an EP in 2019, Scavengers, and now you're back with your debut album, Funeral Psalms. Seems like it's been doing really well. You got about 5K streams on Spotify on release date. That's pretty good. How y'all feeling about it so far?
We're stoked. I mean, we kind of expect nothing, and so when people are actually listening to our music and saying that, hey, this is like you're my favorite new band, it's like, you're crazy for saying that, but also like awesome, you know?
Yeah.
So why do you call it Funeral Psalms?
Oh, you're the first person to actually ask why it's called that.
Really?
So well, specifically, so with Scavengers, when we restarted the band, we kind of picked the bones off of the old song pile that we had written like 10 years ago. So the Scavengers EP was kind of created out of some old songs. And so that album is called Scavengers specifically because we picked the bones off of these old songs and created something new. And so then there's a little bit of a progression where you have like the death of the old songs. And with Funeral Psalms, I had been playing around with funeral march, something that was like us putting to death kind of the old band and the old sound as we move forward. So we were playing around with the funeral motif. And then when we were in the studio writing, a lot of the stuff started to come out that like it was just like a very dour kind of dark record, which was definitely influenced by COVID being a bad year with political unrest and racial unrest and furloughs and people losing their losing jobs and not making money and all that kind of stuff. And so it just kind of ended up being like this album that if you look at the book of Psalms in the Bible, David is crying out to God and like cursing and just so frustrated, and God's response to him is like, yes, like I want all that, give me that anger, give me that frustration. And like that's kind of what we did here, where there's some spiritual themes to it in the sense that we're just like crying out to God or the universe, or we're frustrated at different institutions, be it the government or wherever you want to point your frustration. But that's kind of the thought behind that.
That's interesting. You think that it's a dark record because, like, I guess lyrically it is, but the music, it's like y'all were saying, you're a chaotic rock band with the can-do attitude, no frills, all fun. Like, it's fun. Like, this stuff, it's exciting and fun, not like dark and making you sad or anything.
Dark meanings like disguised with party music.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's been the juxtaposition between our band and our music. Chris, and you're hitting on that, is like we're just like dudes chilling. Like this started because we wanted to jam and play music, and so we're having so much fun doing what we're doing, and our music is going to make you bob your head and groove to it, but then as you dive in, maybe the artwork is going to be a little darker, and like the lyrical content's going to be a little bit darker, but all that is just built on this foundation of like, you come to a show and we are just going to party and we're going to have a good time, and we hope you do too.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. It's definitely something that I would want to have played at my funeral. What songs do y'all want played at your funerals?
I would love to have the soundtrack to Ocarina of Time played at my funeral.
Dude,
Oh,
nice.
why?
All
The
right.
Zelda,
Why,
the
Johnny?
Zelda Nintendo 64 game.
Show us your arm.
I'm like a huge Zelda nerd. I have a big Majora's Mask
Oh
sleeve
my.
going
Oh,
on.
dude, the freaking moon too. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's how
That is awesome. I bet that gets all the ladies.
they love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I would love to scare people at my funeral, or just go for like the actually. It wouldn't be really shocking because I feel like people would expect it, but have some really off brand song for a funeral. But I would love to have like Back to Back by the Chariot play, and people would just be like, "What's going on here?" And then it's the quick 2-minute punch, and then it's just, all right, well, that was Keith and summed up in a nutshell.
Yeah. I can't take that question seriously because I keep going to like joke answers. So it's like obviously like Dust in the Wind from like old school. Like,
Yeah.
like Johnny and Keith like playing acoustic guitar. And one of you guys says,
Johnny
"You're
and
my
I
Blue."
soloing.
Yeah,
You're my boy,
No-
Blue.
Nobody ever called me Blue, but like now they do. Or like Sufjan Stevens on the Carrie and Lowell album, he has the one song that has the refrain at the end that just says "We're all gonna die." And it's like I kind of stole that now that I say that out loud from for our album, but he just keeps repeating it, and it's just like it's such a harrowing reminder, like we're all gonna die. And
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna die, so might as well party, right?
exactly.
Carlos Pets Dogs in chat says that the album is so good, guys. Congrats.
Oh, yo, what's
man.
up, Carla? Yeah, you follow us on Instagram. You've been chatting. That's fun.
So you guys clearly love Every Time I Die. I think it's okay. I think it's safe to say. What are some other influences?
So many. Johnny, start. You can start this one.
I mean, I'm big into for this genre, I'm big into Norma Jean and like heavy Under Oath, As Cities Burn, those type of bands.
Nice old school metalcore scene. I like.
Yeah, like stuff
Well,
that was out when I was in high school.
That's
Hell
what
yeah.
we draw a lot of our influences from, because I'm 30. We're actually all 33. Keith, you're 34, so we were all
Okay.
born in 1987.
Dude,
So
I'm old
we're-
too, man. I'm 30.
Yeah, there you go.
Welcome.
We're
Welcome to the
old men, but
30s.
we,
I
in
don't
high
like it.
school, like any of the metalcore stuff from like 2003 to like 2008, I feel like is kind of
Right.
all game for our influences. Keith, what about you?
I think for me, a lot of the influences that I naturally have when I'm playing this kind of fun, mathy, party rock stuff that we do play is I've got a lot of He Is Legend in my blood. And a lot of that like party kind of like feel, that rock and roll, like wild feel, especially the earlier stuff. I love it. I can't get enough of it. A lot of the dissonance and the chaos probably comes from Dillinger. I listen to Dillinger like, I want to say at least an album a week, and have for as long as I can remember. I love them so much. So
Nice. What's your
yeah.
favorite album?
Their last album was so good because it just went out with a bang. They went out with a bang, and it's the like whole build, and I feel like they evolved so well, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with Limerick Death, the first song off that album.
It's so good. It just starts
Yeah.
off so hard, but they went out with such a bang. It leaves you blue balled.
Right Alrighty. Who's responsible for the writing process? Is one person directing it, or do you guys just bring in whatever and see what sticks to the wall?
Dude, it's wild. We have a Dropbox that we all share that just gets littered with song demos. And so, like, Keith has been ripping off a bunch of demos. Johnny will throw in a demo, and then we send it to our drummer, who spends his day writing EDM songs. So he's an EDM producer, and he's our like glue. Or no, I don't even know how you describe it, but basically you guys send kind of like the unfiltered raw riffs to Brent, and then he makes them a song. And then once we kind of establish this as a song, then we kind of start to build on it.
Yeah. It's very democratic. Like we'll get the song idea and then sit down in a room together, listen to it and be like, okay, that part needs to change, or like this needs to double, or hey, I got bored at like this part in the song, so let's change that up. And so it really goes through like the Undertaking filter, and then when it comes out of it, it has everybody's hand on the song.
Right. I don't think there's one person in the band that has a greater say than another person,
right.
Because if Johnny writes 4 riffs and Brent structures it and chops it up, and then I add a bunch of weird ass guitar over that, and then Austin changes it completely with a chorus or whatever Austin's magic is that we weren't expecting, which is typical on every song, because we have this idea of what we think it's going to sound like, and then we start recording it, and he comes in, we're like, wow, well, this just ended up so completely different than how we thought it was. And then we kind of, it evolves, it ends up evolving. Every song ends up evolving to a completely different place from where we thought it would. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've written 3 riffs and it just turned into something not even close. So...
Well, that's good. That shows that you guys are really collaborating with each other. That's what it's all about. Who is writing most of the lyrics? I assume Austin?
Yeah.
So blame him.
I wish. Yeah. On this album specifically, I wrote like 90%, let's say 90% of the lyrics. Because then once we got into the studio where
it's more than that.
might be 100% of the lyrics.
No, there's a little bit where
there's maybe like a word or two.
Shut up, stop.
I pulled out a thesaurus, I think, in the studio. There was one song where I pulled one off Joey's bookshelf, a thesaurus, and we found a different word. But other than that,
well, for me, like I want to have. Oh man, I'm like kind of. I think we're like sensitive artists, and like if I'm coming in with an idea, I want to have like a fully fleshed out idea before I unveil it to everybody, because I know that they're gonna pick apart either my like syntax and songs, like lyric structure, like all the different stuff. It's just gonna get picked apart. My brother-in-law is trying to give me a drink, so yes, I'm gonna take that.
Go for it, man.
No, I just know I need to have a fully fleshed out idea before I bring it to the table, because that's when it just gets picked apart. And so that's actually, it's very exciting, because then I'm like, all right, this is a good idea. I like this concept. I'm pretty happy with these words in a certain order or whatever that looks like. And then at that point, we can refine it and then make it better. And that's like so freaking exhilarating when we're sitting there in the studio or at Brent's house or whatever, and we take this idea that like I'm already happy with, and then we take it to the next level, because we're like, oh, what if we said this instead of this? It's so dope. Like, I think we're all addicted to the writing process, because it's like one thing though,
Austin, to your credit though, one thing that's exciting, at least from my perspective, is when Austin writes a song, and be it a word or two or a phrase moved out of position, he wrote that with some sort of passion behind it. He has some sort of energy that we aren't really a part of. It's coming from him. So when we play it and he sings it, what you're hearing him yell into the microphone comes with that Austin energy that he gets from like writing that. And I mean, it's the same when Johnny and I write a couple riffs that we really love or we really get behind. Like what you hear us play and what you see us play live, that's so authentic. And when Austin's screaming that live, you could tell he feels that. And we want him to feel that, because that's part of like the magic when you see us running around going crazy, is it's all pure emotion. And
I have
so
a
it
chip
means
on my
more.
shoulder. I have a chip on my shoulder from when we were at Love Juice recording that Western Heroes 3-song EP, and the producer was like, "Dude, I just don't feel like that emotion in your voice." And like ever since then, I'm just like, "I'm gonna give it everything."
Right,
It's
right.
the it's the it's the gif of what's his face in the professional when he's turning oh my gosh, what's his name, Gary Oldman, and he's like, get everything, like that's me every time we're in the studio.
That's awesome, man. Your lyrics range from making it through tough situations to calling out terrible people. What's the overall theme behind the lyrics?
I don't know if there's specifically an overall theme, because each song is going to be like a little bit of like a mini like narrative, but the overall theme for me is it's okay to process your emotions. It's okay to allow yourself to feel frustrated or angry. And I feel like in our day and age, like I think we have a tendency to bottle up those frustrations and emotions. And in these songs, I hope people feel that raw emotion. And as they're listening, there's like, okay, like, wow, like, yeah, I feel that too. Like there was a bad person in my life who I'm trying to put distance, put space, put boundaries up, and like treat myself better. And then as you're processing through that emotional journey, we're all just trying to be better people at the end of the day. And I think that that's like what I'm trying to get through is just like, hey, process those emotions, feel those emotions. And then like at the end, the last song, and everything's going to work. Everything worked out just fine. Like, let's like be better people because of this.
That's awesome. A really good message.
But Chris, I freaking say cowabunga in the middle of the album because
It's
like,
true.
why not? Like, let's have some fun with it too.
Hell yeah.
Cowabunga.
That's awesome. You guys recorded this at the Vibratorium with Joey Bradford from The Used. That's amazing, dude. And Love and Death is a huge thing for me, like especially back in high school. What was the recording process like?
It was chill. It was
It was
super
good
chill.
bump.
Joey's such like an even keel guy where it's like he probably does get angry and like gets frustrated, but he's just like everything's gonna work out, things are gonna be fine. Like let's take things one step at a time and just he just sets the vibe. And it's, I mean, stupid to say that because the place he calls the place the Vibratorium.
Yeah.
Like it's his own
True.
studio.
It's accurate.
But it's it's very accurate. And I think like him setting that tone for us, it's the first time we went into the studio as a band to record this many songs. And I don't know, it like our first album and first songs with the record label. So we were a little bit nervous going into it, but he really kind of just was like, hey, we're going to make something really cool and it's going to be a great experience, and set that tone like right off the bat. And yeah, it was amazing.
So you're saying that there's good vibes all the way throughout it then for the Vibratorium.
Yeah.
I love that name so
All,
much.
all
It's
vibes.
so good.
Yeah, go for it, Keith.
Oh, I was just gonna say, add on to what Joey said. There were good vibes, but it was really creative in there. We went in, like we had mentioned earlier, with a lot of bare bones songs. There were a lot of. We had like maybe 3 or 4 songs done. Like, all right, we're going in. We're gonna dial these in. Brent comes in on drums, knocks him out. The rest of the album was very experimental. We would go in, kind of flesh out some ideas in the studio. We had a lot of writing on the spot. There was a lot of like restructuring once we, played it, and we were like, that doesn't sound good. Let's switch that up. So it was a really creative kind of process, and it was really exciting to see Joey kind of bring out different sides of us that we haven't normally seen. Like Austin was singing some really high range stuff that Joey was probably forcing on him that he didn't want to, but ended up sounding really good. There were a couple takes where I messed up on the guitar, and Joey's like, no, that sounded really good. Like that kind of adds a weird thing to it. Let's do that. And same with anything that we did in the structuring, he found unique things that the 5 of us normally wouldn't have seen, and kind of brought that into the light. So it was fun working with Joey. as chill as he is, he's good at what he does. So
Mhm.
it was fun. Yeah.
We signed our record deal in May of 2020, so basically a year ago. Oh, that's crazy. Almost a year ago today, I was on the phone with Solid State having like our initial conversation. And so then like for us, 2020 COVID happened and boom, we're like signing a record deal. We got to go into the studio and put out an album. And so we like pedal to the metal, just wrote a bunch of songs. And then 3 months later, August 2020, we're in the studio for 1 full month, just every single day going, because we all live in North County, San Diego, and the studio's in North County, San Diego. So it was like a 15-20 minute drive for us. So for us to be able to go every single day, just, I mean, like Johnny and Keith said, it created this opportunity for us to catch lightning in a bottle. And like, the creative juices were flowing and everything kind of just fit into place as we were there. It was dope. Like, so if anybody, if you're ever looking for a studio and Joey's not on tour with the Used, man, like hit up the Vibatorium and experience the vibes, bro.
That's awesome. Your EP, you guys self-recorded it, right? So why didn't y'all just do that again this time around?
Yeah. I don't know. The EP, we got a little help from our buddy Daniel here in San Diego. So he helped us with that one. And then, yeah, the singles we did all on our own. And then I think we decided as a group to kind of allow, I don't want to say that in a weird way, but like we wanted Joey's kind of oversight. So Joey manages us as well. And so
Oh,
to
I didn't
have
know
that kind of,
okay.
yeah, to have kind of that like sixth member in the band, like helping produce and like oversee this. Honestly, we didn't want to screw it up. Is that valid to say?
No,
So,
yeah, it
like
makes sense.
going into like the next run of songs, like we might record them on our own and do a little bit more of the DIY aspect. But on this first run, we wanted to make sure that things were done right.
Okay.
Also, one of those stepping stone moments too, where we knew our EP was at this level, and then all of the singles beyond that kind of went up a level, and we started to kind of build on what we were capable of recording, like the quality, the song structure. We knew where our level was. So worst comes to worst, we go in there and it's not up to that last level, and we could go back and do it ourselves. Worst comes to worst, we do it ourselves again. So there's really no reason not to try to keep advancing. And I think that's kind of what we went in there, and we were so stoked with the product that we were getting and that we were hearing. There's no reason not to trust him, because we could, at the end of the day, again, we could do it. So it's good to have that kind of foundational aspect of recording.
I just realized too, Joey wanted to give us that experience. So for us, the five of us, to be able to go into a studio for a month and really
awesome.
kind of like make ourselves at home in a space is kind of like potentially a once in a lifetime opportunity. And that's kind of everything that this band has been, and especially signing with Solid State. Like none of us thought that we would be here. None of us thought we'd be here playing music. None of us thought we'd be releasing a full length album, especially not on Solid State. And so just like each step of the way, like not taking it for granted. And then so if this was like the one and only full length album that we ever record, now we can say like, yeah, we went into the studio for a full month to record. So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool, man. So not only is that cool, but your album cover is cool too. See, that's a good transition right there.
Perfect.
Who did your art?
Yeah. So Dave Quiggle has done all of our artwork. He's been in the hardcore scene forever. Tattoo artist for myself and Johnny, and he did the Scavengers EP and did our 3 singles. And so then when we started to work with Solid State, Adam Scatula, who's our A&R guy, said, hey, I got this young guy that I would love to work with. And his name is Trey Hales, and he's done all the artwork for a band called Counterparts. And then there's a couple of labels that he works primarily with. And so Adam art directed this, and freaking Trey, dude, crushed it. Like the whole art package and stuff just is so dope and
super unique.
Yeah, so we're very happy with how that came out. Adam and I kind of sunk together, like together creatively on a couple references where there's some horror films that were influenced by this. The Witch, Midsommar, and the Darren Aronofsky movie Mother. And so the witch has kind of that foresty fire theme. Midsommar you see with kind of that pagan imagery around the border. And then the font is from the poster of Darren Aronofsky's Mother, kind of that sloppy script type of thing. And so unbeknownst to the two of us, we kind of both had those references in our head. And when Trey you like took that and put it out there, like it was this perfect moment of like, oh crap, that's like exactly what we thought.
Well,
But yeah, all credit to Adam and Trey. They just absolutely crushed it.
so I was gonna ask about those different vibes, because y'all did lyric videos for every song, and they're all like running around in the forest with like fire burning and stuff. Not exactly the vibe I get from your like fun music. So what made y'all want to do that?
Yeah, that was Solid State kind of running with the specific imagery palette and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely not definitely not that fun vibe, which I think adds a little bit of the mystery behind us kind of introducing ourselves for the first time to a lot of people and like a bigger audience. So then they see it and they're like, oh dang, this band's gonna be super dark and serious and stuff. But then when you like dive in and you get to know us, it's like, no, we're just chilling. So maybe on the next round we'll do something a little bit more fun. But I think that, like I said earlier, there's a juxtaposition between kind of the dour artwork and imagery, and then us on our personal side, like get to know us, and we're just a bunch of goofballs.
Okay, I can buy that. You guys did some music videos also. I'm just gonna have them playing. They're all performance vids. Why not something that's like, I don't know, story driven?
It's a good point. It's a fair point.
Maybe the next one will be.
I think a lot of the excitement that we have live is kind of what we want to bring to people, and we tried to do that with the album. And it's hard to demonstrate fully how wild our shows are, and we don't necessarily want to be like, well, we got to go out and put on the wildest show possible, because what we're playing is very energy driven and authentic when we do it live. There's no script, there's no rehearsed parts. Everything's just it's not even organized chaos, it's just chaos. It's kind of what we're feeling in the moment, and if we're really feeling like going crazy, then we do weird stuff. But that is hard to display purely through the music. So I think the music videos do a pretty good job of kind of demonstrating how we are like as a band. We're very energetic. We have a lot that we want to give to the listener and the viewer. And I think these first couple videos at least do a good job of presenting that. So,
okay,
yeah, I think to Keith's point too, us being a lot of people never heard us before, and so we wanted to put that out there of like, this is what we look like, this is how a live show would be of us playing. Like, the more FaceTime that people can get with us, I mean, the more familiar that will be when we pop up, in their city.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think there's something fun about those music videos as well too. Like every single move and everything that we do in those videos, that's us really playing. Like, we're, especially with the "and everything worked out just fine" video, we're exhausted the day after.
It was exhausting.
We like, we're like really pouring it out there, and that's actually stuff that you'll see us doing live. And so we wanted to get people to see that, and then two, narrative videos are like freaking hard to pull off.
That's
like, what
true.
Do you want, like a dude just sitting in his bathroom staring at his mirror and being angry, and then cut between like other pictures of like pills and stuff like floating around.
It sounds like this is an idea you guys had and decided to not do it.
It
sounds like you're making that up on the spot.
It's a metalcore cliche number one.
I feel like I've seen that video before.
Yeah, angry girl walks away, slams the door, takes a backpack full of
metalcore cliche video number 2.
Not to hate on anybody though. If you have a video that's exactly that, I'm sorry.
Did anybody see the Instagram? There was a meme about August Burns Red that just came out. It was like field videos started with this August Burns Red video where they were doing like some video in a field, and then after that it just stemmed to every metalcore band doing a video like angry throwing down in a field.
Well, yeah, video 2 is some person randomly walking around a forest looking like they're upset and lost, and the camera is like fast moving around them, and then the band is actually playing in a forest, but the singer doesn't have a microphone and the guitars like obviously aren't plugged in.
No, that's
Sorry,
that's totally,
Johnny's so uncomfortable because they're
Well, that's because I don't want to start getting people mad, and then we're gonna get all these comments of like, these guys think they know how to do things and they're too cool for music videos and all. I don't know.
No,
Dude, everybody's angry on the internet. I don't understand where all this anger comes from. It's
great.
bonkers.
Are you
great
getting a
to
lot of
watch.
anger? Are people like mad at you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Just
just
in
in general.
general.
Just in general,
Okay.
people are just mad about stuff, and I'm like, what's so bad in your life that you're going and you're like, I got to try to ruin somebody's day by like tweeting something, you know?
Right.
Twitter's
right.
the worst, I think, but I do have a Twitter.
Twitter's bad. YouTube's pretty bad. YouTube, there's just bad comments on stuff for no reason. It's just people just being angry. You're like, why are you angry, man? Why do you have to write some negative comment? Nobody was soliciting your opinion here.
I've had my fair share of angry comments.
It's fun to see.
So I don't know where it was in our conversation, but Josh the Old Man was saying in chat, "Wild is a mild phrase. How many bar tops has Austin been kicked off of?" Have you been kicked off of bar tops? What?
Well, okay, so the funny thing about that is we try to be extremely respectful to the venues, and so I will go to whoever's running the show and just be like, where can I not be? And like this one place in San Diego was just like, please do not stand on our bar because it will break. Like, and then there's another venue that will not be named that just like doesn't want you to have fun at all, so they just say nothing. But then we stand on the bar in the wine barrels anyways, and then they yell at us in between songs. So
they loved it. They loved it when we played there before, but then a second time we tried to pull that, and they were very angry about it.
We haven't been asked back.
Yeah.
No, so we try to be very respectful with what we do. But yeah, I try to, like, I broke a bar table at Helia, and then we like fixed it after the show. But just trying to, I want to push the boundaries, but then I also want them to know, like, yeah, don't touch that thing because that'll break, and then we're mad at you. Like,
we definitely want to respect the establishment. You know, I don't want to like ruin your business.
I don't know where we were, but one time Austin hit a light or something like that with this. I think it was your head. You jumped or hit it, or I don't know what you did. And it nothing happened. It swung, and somebody said something.
It was the fan at Poorhouse. I thought it was falling off the ceiling. I put my hand up into the fan, and it like,
something happened. That one. Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that you've like done at a show? Like, what is like craziest thing that you've like climbed up on or whatever? Have you done like the hanging from the ceiling thing?
No, we haven't quite played like any venues that have. We used to have a place in San Diego called the Epicenter, and there were some rafters up above that you could climb on and stuff. But some of the places we played so far don't quite have that. I like completely ate crap hopping because we're always hopping off the stage, and Keith is in the crowd with his guitar and stuff. And so I was coming back. I jumped off the stage into the crowd, and as I came back up onto the stage, my foot slipped and face first straight into the stage. And there's video of it, and I hop up without missing a beat and just like hit the next note, and I was so proud of that. I'm so bummed though that I wasn't like Andrew WK status, just bleeding everywhere. Like I wanted to have a bloody nose after that so bad, but nothing. And so few people saw it, and afterwards we actually have video, and I just smacked my face so hard. But I was bummed. I wanted to bleed.
I think we've collided a few times, Austin.
Yeah, I almost tripped you up, but there's some video out there of like me going right behind Keith, and he steps back and like almost stumbles. Johnny fell into the cymbals one time, and they like
I jumped off my amp one time and knocked it over, and I was so mad because I thought I busted it, but it held up.
How was that brick, huh?
Yeah,
a brick by brick show. Johnny and I have repeatedly run outside and like climbed on cars mid-song. I think that's happened. I think that's happened to Salty Frog, Till 2. I don't know. Poorhouse. It's happened a few times. I think we've done that our fair share of times.
We have a lot of fun.
We have fun.
One of my favorite videos of you guys, actually, it is my favorite music video for you guys, is a lyric video y'all did for Swap Meet, where you're drawing on colorful construction paper. Whose idea was this?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, thank you, dude. That was just in the throes of our DIY phase, and I like stop motion video put that together, and I had a ton of fun because I was just like making random stuff up as I was going.
Dude, it's awesome. It's so good. I love all the like little jokes and stuff you're throwing in there. The merch shout out about like halfway through.
$50.
It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
It's such an original thing. I don't think I've ever seen a band do this before, so I just had to shout that out. It's so good.
Okay, I got it. I'll bring that back for something. That was fun.
You should, man. So, how do you guys dress your hot dogs?
That's a good question.
Oh.
I was literally talking to people today
Yeah.
about how I kind of despise hot dogs. That's hilarious that you brought it up.
That's what I said. I was like, what? But
You're
Austin
not
doesn't eat bun.
Are you
I'm
American?
gluten-free. I know, I'm gluten-free, so I can't have the bun. So then I'm just like holding like a floppy wiener and like, yeah, that's not good. I'm dipping the hot dog in ketchup instead of just like, no, that doesn't work.
If I get to choose, I'm a big fan of a chili dog, but I usually don't have like chili sitting around. So I'll do mustard with chopped up onions and pepper.
Okay,
That's my go-to.
I like
for a
it.
hot dog.
You know, I recently got into relish, and it's taken me over 30 years to get into relish.
That's a questionable
Really?
decision,
Jeez.
Keith.
It looks
Exactly.
so weird. But you know where I did it? I was at Dodgers Stadium, and there was nothing else. They were out of mustard. Of course, Dodgers Stadium's out of mustard and ketchup. Those ragtag bunch of losers up there. Sorry. Anyway, there was nothing else to put on. I'm not going to have a straight hot dog with nothing on it. So I put relish on there, and I was like, you know, this isn't bad. And ever since I've been like kind of into relish. It's like chopped up pickles. Guys, try it. I'm telling you.
Right, dude, it's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I have a short list of food that I don't like. Olives, pickles, no pickles.
I
No
love
pickles?
pickles. I eat pickles every day.
Dude, I
that's
do too. I do
gross.
too, man. What?
Dill
Austin
Johnny? Sweet?
loves frozen rice and wood. That's what he eats.
Yes. Yeah.
Air and water.
Uncle Jiff in the chat says, I can't vibe with a band if a member can't get down with a dog. Hold that weenie in your hand unless you're a weenie.
That's so good.
No, but that's I'll go to bat and saying I don't love. But if you're like, hey, we're having hot dogs for dinner tonight, I'm chowing down. Unless there's pickles or olives,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I'm down.
Fun fact also, if there's ever a band outing and we're making food, Austin's for sure grilling. We always make him grill.
Yeah, brats and burgers.
Brats and
Let's go.
burgers, not dogs. But he's a hell of a chef. He's a hell of a griller.
So
I'll hold that weenie.
you guys got releases on Solid State Records. How did y'all get hooked up with them? We lost your video, Austin. Oh, there you
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, dude. So we were about to release Who's Afraid of 11 Wolves. So COVID happens in March 2020. We set out to record a song all on our own. All that stuff. Who's 11 Wolves? We're about to put it out. We start to get a little bit of attention from some distribution websites, and some different people are kind of circling the song. And Joey kind of just says, hey, let's pause this release and float it out there to some labels. And literally he sends out an email, and 24 hours later, I'm on the phone with Solid State. So Joey, our manager, guitarist we use, legend, whatever, connected us because he's got the connections. And then so Adam Scatula from Solid State's just like the dopest dude you'll ever meet. And so there's just a fun conversation that we had, and all of a sudden I get off the phone and I call everybody and I'm like, hey, I think this is happening. And it's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. So y'all didn't know them like beforehand or anything like that. They hadn't like scouted you out at shows or.
Absolutely not. Nope.
Dude, that is crazy, man. I've heard a couple of stories like that though, where bands just like come out of nowhere and the labels are like ready to just sign them. That's awesome, man. Y'all like living the dream right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
But you're definitely a band that's caught fire. Even before getting signed, your singles were like blowing up on Spotify. Like give this gigantic, what do you call it? A gigantic wave, and then it dies down, and then whenever y'all release it,
Yeah.
it's about the same size as what your singles were. So like even before you got signed, you were having like these big releases. What do you think you've been doing right, and what do you see bands doing wrong in terms of promotion and stuff? Because that's clearly you guys are good at this.
We got lucky with Wolves. That got picked up by some of the Spotify editorial playlists. That's gotten harder to do right now, and because the head of metal from Spotify doesn't work there anymore, so the Spotify playlists are like really tricky to get into. But yeah, with our previous stuff, we had gotten lucky with a couple of those with some connections that we had. But I think that you just got to get out there and like
Let
I
the
don't want to
people let the people
I don't
run
want to
with it.
oversimplify it, but treat it like a business. And so every decision we made, we're just making really calculated decisions on how we promoted stuff and who we got those songs in front of, if that makes sense. Like who we were sending them to and stuff. But dude, if anybody has advice on how to get out there and blow up, like let us. We're always looking for better ways to do things.
So were y'all like pushing Facebook ads really hard for your singles then, or what was it that did it? Was it just like you just got happened to get lucky and it happened to catch on, or were y'all pushing it in a specific way?
Honestly, I'd say that it's primarily luck, and then just like a couple Spotify playlists that pick you up, and then boom, your streams kind of pop up to that next level. And yeah, we're just talking about Spotify, but across the board with Apple Music and stuff, we would run some Spotify ads, or I'm sorry, some Instagram ads, but actually didn't see Instagram ads get you a lot of likes or views on a video, but that doesn't necessarily equate to followers. And so that's something too. We're always trying to grow that Instagram because the according to a lot of people we've talked to, the numbers that followers you have is important. How many Spotify followers you have, like that, those are important numbers.
Gotcha. You guys also do Twitch streams, so tell me a little bit about your Twitch streams.
Johnny?
That's
Johnny?
kind of, yeah, that's, I mean, we've been getting together, aside from like a handful of ones when people were on vacation or whatever, we get together every single Monday night. And we've been doing that since 2018 when we first got together. And usually it's we at our practice space and to jam through our songs. But we've been having some downtime, especially after like recording the album and stuff like that. And don't have any shows to prepare for. So we've been getting together at my place, actually here in my garage, and sitting on the couches behind me and just chilling and playing video games. And the one time it was like, yo, what if we just hook up Twitch and some cameras and then just put us like streaming and people can hop in and chat with us and have a good time. And I mean, it's something we like to do. And yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Nice.
I run through number. I'm like a 1, this, 2, this, 3. But 1, we have a ton of fun doing it, and we humor ourselves by playing these games, and we just have a hell of a time doing it. And 2, Johnny has a gaming stream, so he's our Twitch expert. So that's like why Keith and I both were like, Johnny, you answer this, but you tell us about your
no.
I mean,
I don't. I'm hardly ever on, and I'm not consistent with it. Twitch is a monster that I tried to jump into, and I'm just like, there's just too many people here, and so I pop on every once in a while, and I have like only 25 people following me or something, and so I get people to drip in and stuff, but it's, I don't know.
What's your Twitch
It's
handle?
more I just my Twitch handle is Johnny Vintendo.
Hold on 1 second. Is it 2 N's or one N?
2 N's. So JohnnyVintendo.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna give you.
But yeah,
follow.
I'm on every once in a while, but more with the band stuff.
And the band's handle is The Undertaking Rocks. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. And I was telling you earlier, that's just something we want to grow, especially with COVID and not being able to play shows consistently. We're just trying to get out there and see people, have people see our face and how we talk and laugh and just be a part of the kind of the vibe and the hangout and stuff. And so that's been something, just trying to get out there. And a part of it is consistency, which we're not super consistent with it, but we're still having fun doing it.
Right, I've seen some bands do some odd things to get their names out there. Like, I interviewed this band called Capra. I don't know if y'all are familiar with them. They just released an album on Metal Blade, and Metal Blade did this thing that was Dungeons and Dragons like campaign, with all their bands. That's like amazing that people are
That's
thinking out of
dope.
the box. That it's such a good idea.
How do we get on one of those?
Right.
See that.
It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. So you guys play a lot of shows, and I'm sure they're insane. Tell us your best show that you played. Either because of like crowd interaction, or maybe it's just like the best y'all have performed, or
It's got to be the Fall of Troy opener. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What we opened for Fall of Troy in December of 2019, and that was a great show. We had a pretty good turnout at that show, and we had kind of hit our stride. We had been playing 2 shows a month for the last 4 plus months, so we were really we had a good vibe going on. We had that kind of sense of where everyone was during a song, how we were going to fall into the next song, kind of rhythmically, how we felt while we were playing. We were all running around, not even thinking about what we were playing, just kind of feeling the energy, and it felt good. I think all of us really we played well, we interacted with everyone well, and I think we brought a pretty good performance. And it was a great show because the other 2 bands we played with, Dead American, they were awesome. We played with Fall of Troy. They were Fall of Troy, so it was like kind of a dream to like open for them. So that personally, I think that was my favorite show.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Like I felt, I mean, with everything you said too, like I felt like we played really tight, and we were at like the very synced up.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We got that show opportunity to open up for Fall of Troy, and then we were about to open up for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus in March, and then that's when COVID shut everything down. So that would have been a dope show as well. We played a couple kind of like preview shows before we really unveiled our set so we had only been playing shows for 1 year before COVID hit. So from March 2019 to December 2019 is kind of when we played shows, and then obviously COVID shut everything down in 2020. We got 1 show in 2020 before everything shut down. But before, we played like a real venue. We played a couple breweries in San Diego, and those were just like brutal learning curves of just not being able to like hear each other and not being in sync. And then the one venue we were talking about where they were like yelling at us in between songs and stuff, that just like wasn't a good vibe. So that wasn't a good show.
Well, that leads into. No, you're good.
I was gonna say this. I forgot the secret show we did at the practice space.
The secret show is one of the best shows that we played. It was like,
I don't know if that counts.
Underground, only word of mouth. Like we got a bunch of like greasy Domino's pizzas in the corner and like a half-eaten bag of chips, and like everyone was vibing. That was such a good show. It was. How many people do we have like crammed into a little room? It was awesome.
It was like sardines in a can.
So it was a basement show?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was in our practice space. So that's actually, I don't know if that video is around. You might be able to track it down we put it together as a music video for our song Hugs, T-Rex, and Rock and Roll, which is off of the Scavengers EP, and that's the footage from there. We set cameras all up around our practice space, and then packed like 20, 30, 40 people, I don't even know, in like the tiniest room, and it ended up being really fun because we just made everybody move around.
Super fun.
What's the worst show you guys have played?
The Helia show? Our first show?
Our first show? Yeah. Well, our first, yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't
show.
great. And then the one, where they were yelling at us to not do, like, this one place in San Diego doesn't have a dancing permit, so they like can't let people move around.
Wait, what? You need a dancing permit? What the heck?
Yeah, San Diego's, I don't know.
It's like Footloose, dancing's banned.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So there's a live music permit, but then they can't allow people to actually move in the venue, or else they'd be breaking the rules. So then, like, a mosh pit starts, and the venue has to yell at them to stop moving. It is not a good feeling.
That's crazy, dude. What the heck? But I assume that's the same for you guys as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know if that was the worst show, but it was definitely a downer to not Plus, the people that come watch us want to move around and vibe, and when you can't, and when we have to like repeatedly be like, hey, don't get all riled up, and then everyone's like, why am I here then? Because we came
Exactly. Yeah.
to like run around and go crazy with you, and you can't just like watch someone else go run around and get crazy without feeling it too.
How do you have a music venue if you can't like move? What the heck? It's
Yeah,
so
I know.
weird.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It's a good question.
I think that actually fits the next category, which I was gonna ask what your weirdest show was, but that's clearly it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Okay. So what was the last album you guys listened to or song?
I have two kids, and yesterday was Star Wars Day,
Okay.
and my daughter really wanted to listen to the Mandalorian soundtrack. So we listened to that yesterday, and then I just picked her up from school earlier, and she wanted to listen to it again. So
Nice.
that's what we were bumping in the
Bum bum
car.
bum bum bum
Yeah.
bum. Bum,
Yeah,
bum,
that-
bum, bum,
yep.
bum.
Raising him right. Raising him right.
Keith?
Last album I listened to, or last song I listened to, was somebody recently found the threats. I don't know who. Was it Brent? Was it you, Austin?
It was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
took
somebody found the threats, which is like a two ex members of the Chariot, and it's awesome. Last song I listened to was The Wrong Man.
Is that like
It's
a
actually-
new project or an old thing? 'Cause
I
never
think they
heard of
put
that
out
either.
music in like 2019 or something, and it sounds like they're working on some new stuff. But it's the old drummer from the Chariot and one of the
Yeah.
guitarists who's also in the band called Listener. And so they're on a podcast. He was on a podcast with our friends, the Black Sheep podcast. And all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, I got to check this band out if it's got two members of the Chariot in it." And
Yeah.
then you listen, and you're like, "Oh, this is dope!"
It's so good. I can't believe I hadn't heard it. And then Austin
Yeah.
shared that with everyone, and we're all like, "What? Where has this been the last
Yeah.
2 years?"
Yeah.
So we are stoked
That's
on it.
crazy. I'm just like counting down the days until they actually do a reunion. Like, you know it's coming,
Oh.
right? I mean, they're all still active in some way or another, right?
I
So
don't know though. Josh has been very vocal that he doesn't want to do it.
that's crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
money
Josh,
on the
come
table.
on,
Money
come
on the table,
on.
Josh. Come on.
Come on.
Did you answer, Austin?
I was at the gym earlier today, and I listened to Gutter Phenomenon by Every Time I Die. So that's embarrassing because you've already said that we sound like them, but that's a huge influence of us.
Dude, it shouldn't be embarrassing at all. You'll pull it off. You'll pull it off. What was your album of the year, either for last year, up to this point this year?
My buddy Jason Diaz just dropped an album, and it's so good, but it's like not in our style at all. It's like a 80s vibes, like pop music, but it's like summer jams, super good. Jason Diaz. It's called Hot Blooded. You should check it out if you like that kind of 80s style.
All right.
I think it came out in 2020, and so I think it made it on one of my lists, but I fell in love with that Currents album that they put out last year, which I had never heard the band Currents before. And I'm not a huge metalcore. I don't listen to a ton of proper metalcore. I like kind of the sloppier, more chaotic stuff. And that album like ripped. They are so good with melodies, and the hooks on that album were really good.
So I was gonna say The Weeknd, but I'm gonna change my answer because I really do like the Architects' last album.
Dude, I never listened to it, man. I need to check that
It's
out.
good. It's different. I mean, it's different, but it's a good different, and I think they're evolving. Kind of like
It's more
Bring
in
Me the
the
Horizon.
yeah. Yep. Exactly.
It's very similar, but it's so good. It's so catchy. Like you listen to it once and you're like, okay, I see where they're going. And then it's the more you listen to it, the more you're like, oh, I fully get it. It's catchy. You've got it in your head, and it brings that kind of music to a broader audience without sounding poppy, So it's good though.
I have
loved it.
seen a lot of people hating on it, kind of like the new Gangastron album.
Yeah, right. I don't hate it at all. I think it's
Just a
Bold.
new direction.
yeah.
Gotcha. You guys have a lot of merch. You guys got shirts, hoodies, hats, CDs, and 2 variants of vinyl. You got anything to show off for us?
Oh yeah, dude, I got a bunch of stuff right here. We got hats. They come in trucker hats and dad hats.
Dad hats.
Nice. So
Got
you
the
can
Undertaking
finally
logo on
answer the age-long question: what sells better, a dad hat or a truck hat?
Yeah.
Dad hats have sold way better than trucker hats.
Really?
People love
okay.
dad hats.
Okay.
Such a bummer.
I know.
Here's
Such
a
a
new
bummer.
T-shirt. Let me move this mic out of the way here. This is the back.
Looking at the sky for relief.
Check out the surf, brah.
Relief that isn't coming.
That isn't.
So
coming.
that's based on lyrics from O Negative, one of the songs.
And then
on
here's
the
another
album.
lyric shirt or hoodie actually.
All My Friends Are Scavengers from the song No Friends.
Nice.
And then
Those are both
on the
done by
front-
Jim Hughes.
The front of it is cool.
Oh, I like that.
Pick up some merch. It's we spend money to get stuff that we want to wear. It's like soft and feels good, and you can wash it a million times and it stays intact.
It's comfy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You got any vinyl or anything like that, like with you, or?
it's
No,
coming.
oh man, I thought they were coming today, and they did not show up to my house yet. So we got some
Okay.
we got some records coming in the mail. So
I
they
got the
ship
shipping
from merch now.
notification. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go to the undertaking.bigcartel.com and pick up any of our merch, and you can go to solidstate.com to pick up the vinyl record. And then we have some CDs, but I don't have a CD with me. But we're stoked. We're so stoked to get some physical copies of our music. It's so sick.
Dude, the variants look beautiful, man.
That's Adam Scatula again, A&R at Solid State, just like crushed it with the vision on that stuff. He like was just like, this is what we're gonna do, and we're like, yes, that's awesome.
Well, that's about all I had to talk about. Let's shout out something else you wanted to bring up. Nope.
Nah, dude, I love what you're doing here, man. It's a fun environment and lifting up the scene and talking to bands and stuff. It's really cool. So if you're listening to this podcast, rate, review, 5 stars. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait. Hold
Subscribe.
on. Let me interview you. Who's the best guest you've ever had on here? Not us,
Oh.
excluding us, because obviously we're the best. But second best, I guess.
Oh. That's actually really hard. I've had a lot of like really good ones. I guess probably the most fun one I've done was with this band called Focusrites. Y'all should check it out. Guys are pretty crazy. They're awesome. I guess in terms of like a fun conversation, because those guys are a little insane. The best one would be Cameron McBride from Methwitch. He's a really down to earth guy. I told a lot of really awesome
Dope.
stories.
Do you ever have dudes just like snorting cocaine on this, and you're just like, yo, take a chill pill, man?
I think most we've had was just people smoking weed, as far as as far as I know. But if you're looking for something to listen to while you wait for new music from Every Time I Die, you absolutely need to pick up a copy of Funeral Psalms, the debut album from the Undertaking, which dropped last Friday through Solid State Records. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Bandcamp. You're also on all the streaming platforms. Is there any plugs that we're missing for you guys? Oh, I forgot the Big Cartel and stuff. The Undertaking.bigcartel.com. But that's about it in terms of links.
Yeah, man. Stoked.
As for me, drop my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming services, and you can get access to exclusive emotes by subscribing for $5. Find me. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you like the video, please drop a like, click the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Inspiration, at thesoundthatinspiration.bandcamp.com. My next guest is and I definitely don't have the notes correct. My next guest is Dead World Reclamation, sick death metal band. Join us here next. I am totally messed up. This Sunday the 9th at 7 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, guys. Hope you had a great time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on.
Hell yeah, and thank you guys for watching.